Hi, my name is Bennet Borden. I am a partner at Drinker, Biddle, and Reith in the litigation group. I chair the Information Privacy, Security, and Governance group, and I'm the chief data scientist of the firm. I'm also CEO of the firm's technology services subsidiary, which is where all my data scientists and monster drinking hacker kids all hang out. I wanted to talk a little bit about what we're doing at Drinker to really revolutionize the practice of law. We've had a data analytics practice for about 5 years where we advise clients on how do you apply data science and analytics to their area of business. And what we found is that we should be applying that same kind of analysis to the practice of law. If you look at what lawyers do, we are fundamentally dealers in information. It is our raw material, right? It's what we go out and find, it's what we analyze, and it's what we deliver to our clients. And so that gives us some sense of getting insight out of data is fundamentally what every lawyer does, right? Identifying, collecting, analyzing, and delivering information is what every lawyer does regardless of their practice group. From litigation and investigations, but M&A and corporate governance, securities, financial transactions, it all comes down to how do I find information, analyze it, apply the law, and deliver it somehow to a decision maker or a client. So we know, because of how data science has been applied to many other businesses, that you can optimize the insight gathering process in any industry. We've seen this happen in hospitality and retail, finance, insurance, manufacturing, and what used to be professions where people engaged in personal heroics and intuition have now become data-driven decision-making industries. And so why can't we do that to the law? So what we did at our firm is we figured out that we are one of the most documented professions in history, right? We write down what we do every 6 minutes. And so we downloaded 3 years worth of billing narratives from our attorneys and sent our data science team to look at it, to really find out how long does it take to write a brief or write a motion or research an issue or write a draft or the thousands of other tasks that we do. Because like most law firms, we couldn't answer the question, how long does it take to do X, which is crazy, right? And so we found some really interesting insights out of this, especially finding practice groups where they engaged in highly repetitive behavior, doing the same task over and over again. And we started working with those practice groups and said, look, we've got this skill in my group, which is we can get insight out of any information, anytime, anywhere, with immediacy and accuracy. How would that help you? What information do you go after that is the riskiest, the hardest to get, or is the most important in making decisions for your clients? And these brainstorming sessions were amazing. We avoided words like data, and we really tried to get down to the core capabilities of what these practice groups did. And so we started building a bunch of different kind of skunkworks projects from bots and data analytics, text conversions, AI loosely. And so we now have 20 different projects going on at the firm that is highly automating and optimizing these repetitive process that doesn't actually take any legal training. What's interesting is we found many examples where we could automate these processes through the use of an application of data science that is reducing the amount of time it takes to do these projects or these tasks by anywhere from 50 to 90%. Well, that's great, except when you bill by the hour, right? So the problem with innovation in the legal space is that the billable hour model is the biggest hindrance to innovation. When you bill by the hour and do things more efficiently, all you're doing is giving away your revenue. And so your interests aren't aligned with your clients. And so what we've had to do is take on the billable hour holy grail and flip that from a billable hour model to a fee per task model in most of these underlying tasks, right? So for instance, one of the things we looked at first was in our M&A group. And so it turns out we looked at the data, and about 50% of the hours on an M&A deal are spent in associates identifying, collecting, and analyzing contracts, right? Because the target has to disclose its contractual obligations. A mindless repetitive, horrible task that the only step of that actually takes legal training is the analysis. What is the cause of this particular clause? So we wrote a series of algorithms and text analytics tools that you load in, you emailed these contracts to a bot email address. It stripped out the core terms, put them up against each other, compared them, flagged issues that were important to the case or the deal, and presented those on a screen to an associate. So the associate spent his or her time actually analyzing what was the legal impact of these things, and not all the time searching, reading, finding what folder is it in, all the manual stuff that many law firms do. It turned out that it took 90% less time to do that task. And so by flipping to a fee per task, we were able to charge the client much less for that task, and our efficiencies actually went way up. So the other problem with that, though, is once you start attacking the billable hour model and giving the benefit of your efficiency, sharing that between you and the client, you have to change how your attorneys are evaluated, because everything runs the billable hour, from the paralegal all the way up to the senior partner. But a billable hour is a poor proxy to value and efficiency. What you really need is, what is the revenue or profitability? And so we had to change how everybody from our paralegals to partners were evaluated by their performance and rewarding efficiency and rewarding profitability. We've now put systems like that in place for 20 different practice groups: labor and employment, our investment management group, financial transactions, and of course our entire e-discovery operation. So this is what the law firm of the future is: going away from personal heroics and intuition into data-driven lawyering. We have to be able to figure out what tasks there are that we do as lawyers that actually require legal training, and that's what we should spend our time on. All this time identifying, collecting data should not be what lawyers spend their time on. It's not a good use of their time, they're not good at it, and it's not a good value to the client. So what we see as the law firm of the future is this kind of analysis, really understanding what are the steps lawyers take to create a legal product or service, how do we optimize those through the use of data science and optimization techniques, and then how do we share that efficiency between the client and the law firm. Thank you.